we're going to recreate the Apple logo. We're going to first go through these steps to get a finished apple, and the final should look like this. Before starting, complete the circle assignment. It gives you a good knowledge of basic Bezier curves. It shows you what an anchor point is, a directional line, and a directional point. Zoom into this area. Try to break this apple down into circles, and if it's still not clear to you, it's okay because you can still complete this assignment. So if you break this down to where the anchor point should be, and you're starting to draw from this area, this, if you imagine this as a circular area, we would start here and it would be at the bottom part of the circle. Then this would be at the top part of the circle, and this would be furthest to the left of where a circle was created. And this again will be the bottom, and this again will be the top. Don't worry if it's not clear. Let's just knock out this project. We'll create that leaf last. Let's start with the apple. Note it goes from 1 to 2, and then that next anchor point is 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, and 9 to 10. So with the pen tool, and note, click 1, drag to 2, click 3, drag to 4. In the center, not up here, not over here, in the center of these two lines. Some people always think it's here. The highest point, or the point that sticks out the most, is right here in the center. Remember, keep your directional line straight, and exactly in the middle, drag straight. Try not to angle it, and click, drag. I'm going to put a stroke on that, and no fill for right now. If you don't want it to connect, click back on the pen tool, and then you won't connect because we need to clean it up first. The same way we cleaned up that circle. If you blow it a little larger, and remember, if you use the direct selection tool, click on the problem. Now note, I'm not on my guides, so I'm going to click on the problem, and only these two things, I shouldn't say things, these two directional lines will help. I'm going to grab the directional point and pull straight down a little, and see, notice it's starting to clean up. Try not to angle it, keep it straight. And then down here, the same thing. I can tell it's still off a little. So wait, let me just pull down some more. And then it's off a little there, so I'm going to go back in a little. So sometimes you got to do a little of each of the directional lines, and then it's still off a little here, so I'm going to go back in a little. So it's a little here, there. Also right here and here I see an issue. So remember, click on the problem and either pull back into the anchor point, and in this case, again, I'm going to click on the problem and go back into the anchor point, and this is how you clean it up. Not bad. I'm off again here. Click on the problem. Not bad. Still tweak it until you get it perfect before we reflect. We're going to reflect it and then we'll join it. I always like to do Command Y. Just get a good look. I can see better if I'm on my guys. I'm still off a little. So now I'm going to pull down a little more, back in a little more, and so on and so on. So you can keep doing it till you clean up before you reflect it. I'm about to reflect it. Okay, that's good enough. I'm off still here, so I'm going to pull it back in a little. Try to keep it straight. Pull. And just take your time and make sure it's perfect. Before moving on, I still see some issues here. So I'm going to blow that up. And the problem was my anchor point is not exactly on the line. So I always like to pull it away first, then put it back exactly on the guide now. So now when I clean it up, everything should line up. So sometimes you got to blow it up just to make sure, And then, like I said, you always have to do a little tweaking until you get it perfect. Now that we have half of the apple completed, we want to reflect it. So from here, we want to reflect it. Now you can reflect it with the stroke on, but if you go by my diagram, I filled it. So if you ever want to do the opposite, so right now it's telling me I have a black stroke and no fill. All you have to do is swap here and it'll fill it and take the stroke off automatically. Okay, next we want to reflect it. We used to reflect it this way by selecting the reflection tool, and that's the two arrows facing each other, and one click where you want to reflect from, and then you come on the other side and you turn it around, and you got to put your finger on the option key and it'll make a copy for you. I'm going to delete that because there is an easier way, and it's to the same thing. Just make sure you select it with the selection tool, the black arrow. I like to select the edge of whatever I'm going to select. Notice that it's selected. Now I want to double click the reflection tool. Make sure it's on vertical to make your copy, and then all you have to do is say copy and then move it over. So I'm going to use the arrows on the keyboard to move it over. If you want to move faster, put your finger on the shift key and the arrows on the keyboard, and when you want to slow it up a little, then you could just take your finger off the shift key. Don't worry that you're not perfectly exact, because that means that when I started I might have been a little over to the right and I wasn't exactly in the center, but that won't hurt this at all. Now we're ready to join. So if you look right here, it tells you how to join. It's using the white arrow. You need a direct selection arrow. That's the white arrow. And if you look at the sheet of paper, don't touch anything. Drag over the 2 points only that you want to join. So I drag only over these 2 points that are here. And I'm doing Command J will join it. It looks like the top is joined. Also, you have to join both top and bottom to make this a complete apple. And I'm going to drag over without touching anything. So look, note, I dragged above. And that's why I don't like to do the leaf first. That way it won't get in your way. You can drag over both and Command J will join it. Now I want to bite the apple. So if you go over here, it says create a circle. So I'm going to use the ellipse tool. You remember what the ellipse tool looks like. I'm going to start in the center. There's a little X to start in the center. And you can make this a little bigger if you need to see it clearly. And then I have my circle. I'm going to deselect, and I'll tell you why. I like to make my circle a different color because I want to make sure that's on top. Even though I know because I made it last, it's on top. So I'm just going to make it any different color. It doesn't matter. Color doesn't matter. It's just that I want to make sure that's on top. Once that's on top, then all you have to do these steps right here. Select both pieces. So I want to drag and select over both pieces. And you want to go up to Window. So if you look right here on the sheet, you want to go up to Window and pull down to Pathfinders. Once you have Pathfinders, it says you want to do minus front. That's the circle is in the front. I want to get rid of the circle. You can kind of go by these icons, but until you learn them and they're clear for you, you can go by each one of them and it'll tell you different things. That's the one that says minus front. So if you wasn't sure which one was minus front, all you have to do is slowly drag across each one without clicking on them, and you can see. So here's the minus front. I'm going to minus front now, and now it's bitten. Now that we have a bite in the apple, notice this little teeny final. There's a black apple and a colored divided apple. So before I divide this apple, I want to click on it to select it with the selection tool. That's the black arrow. And I want to start dragging. But before I release, I want to put my finger on the shift to constrain it because I want it to be straight. And I want to put my finger on the option key. Note that there are two arrows. Those two arrows means I'm making a copy. And this is what you do. When you get close to the ruler, all you got to do is slow down a little and it'll move over for you. And then now you can drag it back and place that black apple here. Don't worry, we're going to make the leaf last. Next. Now we want to divide it so that we can break it down to our different colors. So First thing, if you look here on the handout, it says use your pen tool to create one straight line on the top row. And that's the top row up there. So we're going to create that. So take your pen tool, and to make a straight line, hold your finger on the shift and you can go click, click where you want it to end. If you thought or wanted to make a second line and you went down to make the second line, note that they're all connected. So to avoid that, let me do Command Z. After you end that line, click back to the pen tool. And once you click back on the pen tool, it won't connect. Now, take your black arrow, your selection tool. And if you note here, it says pull a copy of that first line, and then you're going to do Command D to duplicate it. So I got my finger on Shift and Option key. So remember, I got the selection tool. I got my finger on Shift and Option. I'm dragging a copy. Once you have your copy, if you look here and do Command D, it will duplicate the movement. Command D, Command D, Command D. That will duplicate that line that you made. Now you're ready to divide it. So if you look here on the sheet of paper, I already have the Pathfinder window open, but let me close it down. In case you don't see it, it said that first select the line, the apple and the lines. After you do that, go up to Window, pull down to Pathfinder, and then you go to divide. Remember, if you're not sure, go by, just drag across each one. I mean, I know it is, but I'm showing you it. If you do that, it's saying that one is divide. I'm going to click on divide. It broke it into pieces. Now that it's in pieces, if you deselect, if you use your selection tool and click, it's going to click on the entire apple. What happens once you divided it is everything is grouped now, and that's why everything is selected. You need to deselect and use your group selection arrow. And that's the arrow, white arrow with the plus, and click on the piece that you want to color. So I have that piece selected. Okay, here's our color mixtures. So again, make sure you're in the group selection arrow, select the piece you want. And to get the colors, you go up to Window. I see them here, but in case it wasn't open, go to Window and pull down the colors. Once colors open, sometimes it might automatically be in this grayscale mode because when I selected this, it was all black. If that happens, no problem. Just pull down in the sub menu here and go to CMYK. And now it's telling me 100% of K. That represents black. I don't want that. I want to take that out. And now I want to put 75 cyan and 100% yellow. Just go by these mixtures. So I click on that top one is already selected. I'm going to make 75. You can either drag to 75 or you can type in, and the other one I want is a yellow for that top. I can drag all the way to 100% and that will give me the exact green I want. Just go down the line. I'm going to select the second one. It's telling me, so I need to pull down the submenu to CMYK, take the black out, and now I want 20% of magenta, and I want 100% yellow, and that's my second color. Finish coloring them, and all you have to do is use this as your guide. So now we're ready to create the leaf. As simple as this. It's a little different than we created the apple, thinking about circles. So in this way, just follow these steps: 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8. So if you look at my sheet, it says click, drag, start at 1, drag to 2. And then over here it says click on 3, drag 4. Now when you drag, before you let go, kind of turn, drag and kind of turn it in position. Always try to fix the area closest to wherever you're turning. Next, to go the opposite way, and this is what I mean. We're going one direction, heading down. Now I want to go back up in a different direction. You must hold your finger on the Option key. So hold your finger on the Option key, click and drag, roughly kind of match that side. I release, now hold my finger on the Option key again, and look, so when you drag, it's, now I'm at 7, hold my finger on the Option key, click, and drag to fit. Just click, drag, click, drag, click, drag. And then I'm slowly trying to drag. Once you release, I would do Command Y. In the same way, you could fix it up or make sure you're exactly on the guides by using your direct selection arrow. That's the white arrow. I'm clicking on the problem. Remember, it says deselect, click on the problem, and then I'm going to use the directional line to kind of make it exactly on the guide. I'm off here too. Click on the problem and use your directional arrow. And then I need to pull out a little and that's how you fix it. And I'll back, I'm going to do Command Y again. I need another black one. So you don't have to create another black one. Just copy this. Shift Option, copy it over. Take the eyedrop tool and eyedrop that same black. And your apple's completed. And there's one other, the register mark. So the register mark is right here. Let me blow this up. Command plus, space bar. So it looks like a circle in the R, but if you read this, if you want to make a register mark, it's Option type R, and then you want to make the font Helvetica. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to go to the type tool and click. You don't have to do it exactly up there yet. I'm going to do it lower. And then it says Option R. That will give me a register mark. I'm going to blow that up. Command T. It's selected. I can see it's selected. I can just take and blow this big. Now I want to put it on top. And let's keep blowing it bigger. So you have to blow to fit. I won't let you know the size. You got to make it fit. And the only other thing, make sure right now this is Myriad Pro. It's not the right font. Every font has its own register mark. You must make it Helvetica and you make it fit. I'm going to leave you there to finish that. This is what both assignments look like completed. If you ever want to view it without seeing the guides, just go up to View, Guides, and Hide. You no longer see the guides, and this is the way it would look if you printed it.